What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video. On this one we have mistakes American tourists make in England. We are back with Walter's World. Absolutely love his videos. But before we dive in, if you would like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button down below to receive exclusive benefits that I know you guys would enjoy. And without further ado, talk to me, Walter.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Chester, England, and today what we want to talk about are some of the mistakes that travelers make when they do come here to England, because this is a beautiful country. There's so much to see and do outside of just going to London that a lot of people miss out on. And
heard that in many
mistakes
videos.
When we travel, we want to make sure that you don't make mistakes when you do come here. And I think one mistake actually just comes with timing. One of the things I see the most troubles with the tourists have when they come here is the idea of 7:30. If someone says 7:30 to America, they're like, what? 7:30 is 3:30. But the thing is, when you're telling time in England, 7:30 means 7:30, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you were in Germany or some other place, 7:30 actually means 6:30. But here, 7:30 is 7:30. That's where I've seen a lot of miscommunication with tourists and travelers when it comes to making reservations for restaurants or train tickets. So remember, 7:30 is 7:30, okay?
Yeah.
Now, another mistake.
I feel like I would understand if someone thought it was 6:30 or 7:30, either one. But to think 8:30 is absolutely crazy. I don't know how on earth you could get 8:30 from someone telling you 7:30. Like, that kind of blows my mind. That don't even make sense. I don't know how logically how you 7:30, 7:30 makes sense to me. 7:30, 6:30 also makes sense to me. That would be easier if you said 7:30. Then I would know 7:30. Or you said, you know what I'm saying, half before 7. I would know 6:30. That would be easier. But 7:30, I would have assumed 7:30.
The tourists make when they go around England is they forget to take advantage of the deals, because there's so many deals you can get, whether it's on train tickets, it's going out to eat, getting the extra specials. There's all kinds of stuff. Heck, not using the National Trust when you're going around to see the stately manors and the homes around the country. And there's so many places that put together deals where if you buy a pass for a few days, it will really pay for itself. So really make sure you're doing your research on how you can save some money when you come here. Because honestly, I know every time we come here, we get our National Trust pass, and it helps us get into a budget just for stately homes and manor houses and all kinds of things. And that really helps save our budget, and we get to see more when we're there, because we're not worried about, well, how much is the next place going to cost? How much is the next place going to cost? It all kind of goes together. So make sure you look for those things. And kind of going on for the National Trust is also, I see tourists make the mistake of not staying in historic inns and bed and breakfasts. Look, when you're going around, if you're in a city like this here in Chester, there's so many historic inns you can go stay in. The place I'm staying with, it's been an inn since the 1500s. Yes, the steps are a little wobbly and they're kind of wonky and stuff like that, but the building's like 500 years old. What do you expect? And that's cool. One of the things can really make this much of a cultural adventure when you're here, and to really get a better vibe and a better feel for everything is staying at those historic inns, staying in those bed and breakfasts, and not just going to a standard hotel. Now, you can. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be going to these villages, you're going to need to look for, and towns, you're going to be looking for local accommodation, because there's not always a chain hotel in every single town you go to or city you want to go to in England. So make sure you're a little bit more open-minded with your accommodation options. No, another thing
I feel like that'd be cool, like getting to stay in one of those historic inns that were built in the 1500s. Yeah, it would have creaks and wobbles and all of that. But like he said, like you get to soak in more of the culture, so much more of the history. That's cool. The deals thing, I think that's very important. I would probably been caught not looking for the deal, and then be worried about like how much the next thing gonna cost, how much this next thing gonna cost. That would definitely be me. So I feel like that deal thing, definitely something to remember.
People say that keeps them from coming to England is they think it's going to be a very expensive trip. And yes, if you're going to go to London, London will be a very expensive trip. I will not deny that. That's going to be one of the most expensive cities you can go to as a traveler. But here's the thing. If you come up here to the north of England, or you go other places in the south of England, or the Midlands, prices are significantly less than you go to London. And so don't think that, oh, England's going to be a super expensive vacation. No, it's not. I know for me, I've spent 2 weeks between York, Liverpool, and Chester, and I've spent the same amount of money as 1 week in London. Okay, so kind of think about that when you're looking at where you're going to go, because choosing where you go in the country can have a big impact on your budget when you come here. Now, another thing I see tourists...
I think the only thing that frightened me is the cost of the flight. I don't know how much flights cost to get over there to England.
making a mistake about when they come here to England is not respecting the queue culture.
Oh.
Look, line culture, queue culture, standing in line is very much a thing here. And in my video on how to upset the locals, kind of piss them off when you're here, that's like number one of the things that will upset people. And you have to realize is if you come to a place where everyone kind of bum rushes the door when the subway opens or the train opens, or whoever can just get in front of people gets to go first, that's not how it works here. People very much set up a nice line, nice queue. They wait in line. They don't complain about it. They wait there, stiff upper lip. We're just going to wait until it's our turn. That's how it is here. And if you go against that, people are not going to be happy with you. They're going to say something to you. And sometimes you don't realize it because maybe you're from, whoever gets to the front is to the front. Doesn't matter if there's a line or not. But that is a mistake I see a lot of international travelers making here. Another mistake that tourists make is...
I feel like, you got to know, you go into the UK, queue culture is real out there. They're the greatest queuers on planet Earth. So you bet to get right in line, literally and metaphorically, get in line and follow the rules, especially when it comes to queuing.
Sometimes they don't realize the differences between England, Scotland, Wales, Britain, Great Britain, the United Kingdom, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. You have all these different words you'll hear about talking about different places around here. I think it's really important you realize if somebody's from England, they're English. If they're from Wales, they're Welsh. They're not English. If they're from Scotland, they're a Scot. They're not English, okay? And so that's one thing that tourists don't always know, and they sometimes upset people because if you call an Englishman a Scot, there's a connotation of that. If you call a Scottish person English, there's a connotation in that as well. So you do want to be careful with that because that's just a simple mistake that tourists do make. And another thing is when you're traveling around, a lot of people make the mistake of I'm only going to stay in cities and I'm only going to stay in towns when I come here to England. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of natural beauty when you come here, whether you're going to the Yorkshire Dales or you're going to go to the Peak District or you're going to go to the Lake District, which is just gorgeous. See the cliffs of Dover. Going around, you have to realize there's tons of hiking trails. There's tons of walking trails. There's all kinds of nature you can have when you're here. When you come to England, it's not just going from city to city to city. It's not like you're doing a football tour, around going London for Chelsea, Manchester for Manchester United, Liverpool for Everton. No, you can go around and enjoy the nature that's here as well, which a lot of people don't really think about because they think of England and industrialization in London, whereas honestly, there's a lot of beautiful nature when you're here, okay? So let's hop to another part of England to talk about some more mistakes that tourists make.
I've seen a couple of videos where you get to see the beauty of so many places that people traveling to the UK don't think about visiting. So much of these small towns full of so much history, so rich with culture, and so rich with beauty as well. And a lot of people don't really think about going to these towns. They're just focused on staying in the city. So I completely understand what he's saying on that one.
So now we're here in York, outside York Minster, and my next mistake that tourists make when they come to England is they think that it rains all the time, every day when you're here in England.
That's what y'all tell us.
I've been here a number of times in the summer where I was here literally for 10 days, and it didn't rain at all. It was sunny. I got sunburn. I mean, you don't think about sunburn in England when you come here, but it does happen. So don't think it rains all the time. Now, I know it's cloudy now, but just be aware that it's not a torrential downpour every single day when you're here in England, okay? Now, having said that, I do want to say another mistake is not bringing rain gear when you come, because yes, it probably will rain sometime when you're here. I won't lie to you. I remember I was here for New Year's. It was raining sideways and my socks were wet. It was a crazy time. But have your stuff. My backpack, I have a rain poncho in there in case it does rain. So do be prepared for that. But don't think it's going to rain all the time. But just be prepared in case it does. Now, the next costly mistake.
Y'all be telling us it rain all the time in the UK. So that's why we think all the time that it's rain all the time in England and the UK. Because that's what y'all tell us.
Mistake I see tourists make when they come to England is they disrespect or disregard the coins. Look, the coins you get when you come here, they're actually worth something. It's not like in the U.S. where even if you have a lot of coins, it might be 82 cents, but you have a handful of coins. Here, if you have a handful of coins, you could probably pay for dinner because you got maybe a 2-pound coin or a 1-pound coin. I mean, 50-cent piece. I mean, money and coins really go farther here than in the U.S. and other places. So just be aware of that. And don't just leave them behind or throw them in the fountain. Use them to buy some cool souvenirs or buy yourself a snack or buy yourself dinner, which I've done a number of times with the coins I've had here. And when you are ordering, another mistake I see tourists make is they order an ale and they expect a beer. Look, when you get an ale here in England, they actually pull it. It's like a pump. They're actually pulling it to get it out, all right? And you have those ales when you're here, and they're very different than your Bud Light or your Budweiser, your Stella Artois. That's that bubbly, cold, ice cold beer that tickles your nose. No, ales are very different than your traditional kind of beer you kind of think of when you're thinking of getting a beer with your buddies and crack off the top and do this. No, they're going to pull that beer, okay? So when you order an ale, don't expect a beer, expect an ale. It is a different experience. And yes, that means it's not going to be ice cold. It's going to be close to room temperature than ice cold, but it's still going to be fantastic. Now,
I got to try it to see it. I don't like anything close to room temperature, any of my drinks close to room temperature. I'm always give it to me ice cold type of guy. So I got to try ale. Y'all talk to me in the comment section about ale. How great is it? How good is it? How good is it? Room temperature ale? Is it better than an ice cold beer? Or is it just different? And yeah, them coins, I've learned in many videos about them coins and how valuable they can be.
Next mistake I see tourists making is they think London is England. Yes, London is in England, and London has a lot of stuff that's in England, but don't think just because you went to London, you saw England. There's a reason why I'm filming this in York and other places around England, so I can show you this country has so much more than just London. It's like saying I went to New York City and I saw the US. I went to Paris and I saw France. I went to Tokyo, I saw Japan. There's so much more throughout England you can go and enjoy. Here in the north, when you're going to York, it's a great time. Or maybe you're going to go over to Liverpool and see where the Beatles were. Or maybe you go down to Brighton or you go to the Cliffs of Dover. I mean, you go around England. There's so much more to do here than doing London. So please, even if you're only going to be going to London, do some of the day trips to go down to Brighton, go to Canterbury, go to Bath, go see some of the other parts, because don't think that it's just London when you're here. That's a mistake that a lot of people make. Go and explore this country because it is beautiful. And when you're going to explore this country,
I feel that.
Another mistake I see tourists make is they get scared off of driving because they drive on a different side of the road than you drive in back home, so you're scared to drive around. Look, it's okay to be scared driving in London because even the locals are scared to drive in London. But driving around England is wonderful. You can go and explore so much more. See more castles, see more stately homes, see the different national parks that are around here. There's so many great things to see and do that you need to have a car to truly enjoy. And so many tourists make the mistake of, it's the other side of the road. Roundabouts scare me. I don't want to do this. No, don't make that mistake. You'll be okay. The first roundabout or two will scare you a little bit, but after that, you'll be fine. And you'll be surprised when you get away from London how little traffic you're going to have so you can enjoy it and not freak out about all the driving and all the other side of the road stuff. And when people actually do...
I feel like if I could drive on an interstate full of traffic, I can drive almost anywhere. I wouldn't be worried about that. I think more so the aspect of I guess when you go into those smaller towns, from what I've seen in different videos, it looks like the roads are narrower. And so in the U.S., you have so much space on the road. From what I've seen in the U.K., now correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like the roads are more narrow. So that would make me a little bit nervous. And then, I mean, if I was to go to the UK, I just would want to experience, the public transport system, because I hear so many great things about it in the UK. And as we know, in America, it's either non-existent or horrible. I don't want to experience public transport.
Do start driving around England, they start to realize another mistake they made. And that is thinking that English food is just fish and chips and bangers and mash and other pub grub kind of stuff. Look, England has a lot of immigration from all over the world that's come here, and they brought their food with them, so you could have fantastic food that is not just straight from a fry-up. You could have so much great food when you're here that's not just an English breakfast or something like that. You can have non-English food when you're here and have a lot of great food as well, and it's not just that bangers and mash, fish and chips, and hitting the pub for a grub. No, there's a lot more than the chippy when you do come here. And with that food, another mistake I see tourists make is when they go to a pub, they think people are going to come take their order. Look, if you're going to a pub and you see a number on your table, realize that probably no one's going to come and take your order. You need to go to the bar to put your order in, and then you tell them what your table number is, and then someone will bring it out to you, okay? Because I've been in a number of pubs in England over the years where tourists are just sitting there going, well, no one's coming to serve us. What's going on here? Look, don't make that mistake. Just go up, order at the bar, and you'll be fine. Just take your number up so you can pay, and they know where to bring it, okay?
I feel that.
If you're going to be traveling by train around England, which is super easy to do, Another thing I have to say, another mistake I see people make is they don't get a rail card. Look, if you get a rail card, you can get some serious discounts on train purchases because the trains in England, going around Great Britain overall, they can be a little pricey, and saving some money just by having a rail card can go a long way. So if you're going to be coming here for like 10 days, you're going from London to York to Liverpool to Chester, to Wales to up to Scotland, wherever, those rail cards can be a big discount for you and help you save a lot of money. So don't be afraid to buy one, even if you're only here for a few days, because honestly, it can really save you some really good money and pay for itself. So another mistake tourists make.
I feel like, that's a good tip. I would have definitely needed, because I would have probably just been paying each time I use the trains or anything instead of getting a rail card. So I feel like if I were to go there, now I know, like, hey, get a rail card. In the long run, I will definitely be saving the money. I appreciate you, Walter.
When they come here is really trying to understand the kind of love, I'm not going to say love-hate, I'm going to say love/loathe relationship that England and English fans have with the England football team, the Three Lions. I mean, you'll be surprised how much, if you listen to the radio, how much they love England, how England really should win every World Cup and every European Championship and every Champions League and every UEFA Cup, everything ever. England should win every single soccer football tournament ever. And you'll hear them it's crazy how much like we are the best. It's coming home. It's coming home. Like you have this crazy mentality they have for the English team. But then on the same thing, if things don't go well, if they miss a penalty kick or get stopped or they sky it over the bar, how people really turn on the team, like, oh, the manager needs to go. We need someone else here. This team is horrible. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just crazy how much they can be so happy and so, yes, England. But at the same time go, oh, I hate them. I mean, it's one of those things, like, tourists can't really understand, and don't make the mistake of trying to understand, because you can't. Like, they have a whole other mentality when it comes to football that you have in any other country. So that love and loathing they have for the Three Lions, just don't be surprised. Don't make the mistake that you think you can understand it, because you can't. And that's okay. So let's go to a different place.
As a sports fan, I completely understand what that's like. When your favorite team, oh my God, when they let you down, you will turn on them in a second. But then you'll come back after you cool down. But yes, I completely understand. And then on top of that, having watched Ted Lasso, I definitely learned a lot more about exactly what he's talking about, bro. They would turn and then come back and turn and come back. They don't care. You could be best of friends with the fans, but you let them down, you disappoint them, they will turn on you in a second. But if you win a championship or you come through, they'll love you to death. So I understand when he says love-loathe relationship. That show taught me a lot about it.
To continue on our mistakes that tourists make when they come here to England. Now we're here in Liverpool, and I think the next mistake I want to talk about is when people come to England, they think when it says an 85% chance of rain that it's going to be a complete downpour the entire day.
I feel that.
Look, the rain here is just kind of like rain. It just kind of comes and goes during the day. It's usually not a really heavy downpour. Yes, it does happen sometimes, but it's more of just like a kind of constant on and off rain. And on days when it says it's going to be sunny, you might have a splash of rain pop in, or in a day like today where it's supposed to be, raining all day long. Yes, there's some dark clouds over there, but across the way it's all sunny. So don't make the mistake of thinking that the weather's going to be one way or not, or that downpours are going to come if they say it's going to rain. It's more of a light, constant drizzle most of the time, all right?
Yeah.
Now, since I'm here in Liverpool, I think it's important to mention this mistake. Wearing a Manchester United jersey here in Liverpool. Well, not just that, but I think a lot of tourists think that, I'm going to go to England, I'll get my new t-shirt, my new jersey for my favorite team, whether it's Manchester, Liverpool, Chelsea, whatever, and then they're just going to wear it out when they go to the pub, or when they go around and see the sights, and I think that's a mistake that tourists make, because most of the time it doesn't matter. People don't really care, but if it's like a game day, or people are getting a little bit too exuberant, or the lads have had too many drinks, that can be something you want to think about. So get your jersey when you're here, and if you're going to go to the game, go ahead and wear it, but if you're not, save it until you get home. Now, another mistake I see.
I be aware of where you are. Be aware of where you are. Don't wear this jersey in a rival city or anything. But I think that he said his best. Just unless it's game day and you go into the game, save it for when you go home. Just to avoid any kind of misunderstanding, any kind of conflict. And I definitely understand what he's talking about with that rain. Even when they say here in the U.S., like 85% chance of rain, I'm like, it's going to be off for later. But yeah, like you said, it could just mean like a drizzle or just a little bit of rain. Doesn't mean it's gonna absolutely pour down.
Tourists make when they come to England is they have the wrong adapter. When you come here, you want an adapter like this. See how it's these three flat things here? That's what you want to have. That's what you're looking for the UK in general, okay? So if you're looking to get an adapter, I recommend you get like a universal adapter that'll have like Europe, and it'll have the US, and then it'll have the UK, so make sure you have the right adapter.
Cool.
Now, a mistake that even seasoned travelers sometimes make when they come to England is if you go to Europe, or mainland Europe, you're in Germany or Spain, or you're in the US even, or in Canada, you're used to having just one company run all the train lines. And that's a mistake you make when you come here to England, because there's literally, it feels like dozens of different companies that actually run the train lines depending where you're going to go throughout the country. And so when you go online, you go to the National Rail website and you go to book your ticket, and then it kicks you off to another website, people are like, oh, is this a scam? No, they're going to send you to the website of the company that runs the train line that you want to get. So for example, I'm here for a 12-day trip. I've had to sign up for 4 different programs on 4 different train lines to get myself around the country.
Dang.
So I don't think there's just one train line when you're here. And another mistake, and it doesn't matter if you're at the railway station, or you're at the bus station, or you're at a museum, or you're walking around the city, is that's when tourists don't ask for assistance when they're here in England. Because they have a great system here to help out tourists and to help out people. But also the people here are pretty friendly, and they will help you out. I mean, and it doesn't matter if you're lost in London or lost in Leeds, someone will help you if you ask. And the thing is, the police are very helpful here. Museum guides are helpful here. Your concierges are here. Or just the dude walking down the street, or the person you're sitting by on the train. You can talk to them. I mean, here in Liverpool, the people are more than outgoing to give you advice. If you look lost, they'll be like, hey, mate, you lost? So don't be afraid to ask for help when you're here. And you're going to maybe want to ask that.
I'm definitely one of those shy, introverted people who don't like asking for help. Like, I walk around the grocery store 3 or 4 times looking for something down every single aisle before I walk up to somebody and say, hey, do you know where this is? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm weird like that. I just am. And so I'd be wandering all over London or wherever I am for hours, I feel like, before I just approach somebody, which would have just been easier to do from the beginning. But I appreciate that tip, Walter.
Help, especially if you want to go shopping late, because I think that's a mistake that tourists make when they come to England. They think, oh, it's going to be open late night. I can go shopping in the evening. It'll be great. No. I mean, that is a big mistake you make when you come here. You need to realize, if you're in London, yeah, the shops stay open longer, right? And the museums might stay open longer. But if you're here in the north, you're in the Midlands, or wherever you're going to be going around, you have to realize that some places, the museums might close at 4 o'clock. The stores might close at 5 or 6 p.m. I mean, that's one of the things you have to kind of think about when you're here is, hey, when do I need to get everything done? So make sure you're looking for the schedules of all the places you want to visit so you can make sure you can get in. Because you don't want to miss out on going to some of the great museums that are here or the historic homes, all right?
I can understand that. Shout out to Walter World. I feel like I always enjoy his videos. He's always so helpful. And in this one, he was definitely helpful on plenty of tips and everything about helping American tourists, or helping any tourists kind of be able to get around, be able to get good deals. Make sure you don't run into things that could cause conflict. Make sure you know that London is not England. There's so many different cities and towns where you can go and stay. It's going to have less traffic, that are also full of history, that are also rich in culture. Staying in these Holiday Inns and these historic B&Bs and different things. I feel like he's very helpful when it comes to traveling. But you guys let me know, are there any tips in here that are any mistakes that you've seen American tourists make, or any tourists make that maybe Walter did not mention in this video that could be helpful to someone wanting to travel? Drop it in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and give the video a thumbs up. It's your boy D-Neil, out.